the left and right. There's no like centrist news source on television. There's no like this is probably what's going on news source.
Yeah.
It's always one or the other, and it's like you're living in a bipolar person's brain. You know.
I think like part of what's happened is we used to have news, and you could make a good living in news, and journalists were really sort of the top of the social hierarchy in some way, shape, or form, because they were this check and balance. And then somewhere along the way, this business model focused people on clicks, and nobody told the rest of the world that the underlying incentives were going to change. And so that's where you find yourself, where there's very little news, I think. There's a lot of opinion. And then the problem with opinion is that feeds the outrage machine. And that's the clickometer. The clickometer doesn't go high when you're like, hey guys, I studied this equation and it shows.
Right.
There's a 50% chance of this 50%. Nobody cares about that. It's either like it's totally, totally bad or it's totally, totally good, because it amps people up. And that's a real bummer, because I think like you don't know what to think anymore.
Well, it's also a completely novel new thing that we weren't prepared for. So before there was social media and online news, no one was prepared for the world of the algorithm. No one was prepared for being like literally everything that freaks you out is what you'll be shown, because that shows that you're engaging, and that's how it's set up for it, which is just so contrary to the rest of history. Totally. I mean, it was always it bleeds, it leads in the news, because they wanted to win ratings news, but they only had so much control, and it was only on for an hour.
Exactly.
And now it's just this 24/7 anxiety fest.
It's omnipresent, and it's basically made to want, to convince you that you need more of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a bad diet, like the first few shots of it, the first few bites of it tastes amazing. But, if you eat the full toffee cake every day for the next 365 days, and then for the next year, I mean, you're going to get diabetes, you're going to get heart disease. So the version of that is like your brain just gets totally fried. And then the bigger problem is, and when you're presented with, maybe it's not even the truth, but an opinion that you should consider, you get totally shut out of it. And that's like the real problem. You build these antibodies in your body where this other version that says, take a step back and reconsider, it's not allowed.
Right.
And, then if you said to yourself, well, how do you even start? Where do you go? Like if you're, a friend of mine